So if you look at this, time now is 11:16 a.m. You can see that. So I did not open these browsers. There are three browsers that you're looking at here. One, two, and three. And today is February 29th, 2023. I didn't open any of these browsers until around 10:40, 9:40 a.m. this morning because I was on a call. And when I opened the browser, this stock that you're looking at, it was 196, the same place that you went to yesterday. Refer to the video that probably will precede this before the market makers continued monitoring my computer and then bringing it down with either my tweets or my snipping of what you're looking at the browsers with this snipping and captioning, they sell it down or sell it up. So this morning, as soon as I put the browsers on, the stock stopped at 196 and they started selling it down. They brought it down to 188. While it was at 188, I had a call, I had a text message with my attorney in which we were trying to arrange something regarding to the lawsuit 23 CV 02986-LKJ. And as soon as I send the message to my attorney, they send the stock down to 186 point something. If you look at the chart, you can see it. And if you want, you can see the message that I sent to my attorney. That was exactly at that moment. And then eventually, after they did that, I turned my phone off. While they were doing it, you can see this one, they just kept it right there, kept pushing it down to 190, 0.3350 and whatever. And then you can see that as soon as whenever I stopped whatever I'm doing and stay a little bit, they assume that I am now focused on this. You can see this stock has been going between 1.62 to 168, 1.6, and if I open this, you'll probably see that the volume is less than 2,000 shares. Just like yesterday, remember when I said they were going to sell it from 160 to 140 because of the snip I did, and it happened exactly as I said. So this one, you can see what's going on. Remember what I just told you. So they go to one. I started buying this stock at 203 in December. I believe it was late November into December. After they sold it down, after they held it under 250 to get my options to expire Watchlist. I amended my complaint. As soon as I amended my complaint, I put in this stock specifically. They now pushed it down to as low as $2 and waited. I bought that. After I bought it, they took it to 180. I got more at 180. They took it down to 160. I got more at 160 and they took it down to 125, as low as 125. All the way down, I bought a lot of it. And I wasn't buying that to in any way trade them or something. I was just buying. I was buying that because I knew exactly what was going on. That they were selling this in order to mask the pleadings in my complaint. And so this morning they tracked me. As soon as they saw that I opened this browser, they quickly brought this down. And then since then, the stock has been here. They tried to sell it down. Some other people tried to buy it. This is a stock that just based on the assets that they say they're going to sell to raise money to pay off the strategic financing, just that alone, the stock should be minimum. Just by value, not even by any appreciation or anything, is around $7 to $8. But you can see where it is to let you know the extent of the coordination in this crime. And so I turned my ring out. I turned my my phone into airplane mode, not because I'm actually doing anything, but just to keep them adopting the same course of business of trading at the exchange based on what happens in my computer. And and I wanted to capture this. Since then, this stock has been here. This one has, you can see any attempt for this to go up, they quickly start selling this down to let the people over here. There are 18 market makers in Janus. There are more than 30 in AHT. So there are more than here. So any attempt for this to go up, they quickly start selling this down to send a message to these people to hold off. And you can see the numbers. They pay the numbers. You know, the message keep going. There are about 6 of them making market in Lordstown Motors. Lordstown Motors filed the amendment yesterday. But they have not, despite all the rules and regulations that they have that oblige them to cover their short, not a single short has been covered here. And so I will let you know, or you can track the stock and see eventually by the time the company comes out from bankruptcy and starts implementing the asset sales and the law managing the lawsuits. So we'll see what goes on there. But for now, that is where we are, and I wanted to make this small video just to capture this and then tag it to what I already have. You can see that suddenly, you know, because they see that I have been out from my other computer, they see that my mouse has not been moving, and they see my screen, they see everything I do. You can see that, just come back up. This is the 4th time. The 4th time today, they go to 162, they bring it to 168. You can Google, you can check it. 162, 168, 162, 168. And now that they haven't seen me, you know, on the other screen, they know that this is being recorded, and that's probably why this comes back up. I'll pause this for now. Thank you. First time it comes back to that 196 again. And for the first time again, see the Janus, the whole holding, being to hold it and see whether, you can see this will be the very first time it has touched 197. Very first time. They will get it to 198 to be able to match to this 168. That's probably where it's going. This will be the first time the stock is touching 197 since the December when I got it at 203. Since I believe it was end of November, not into December, when I got it at 203. That's basically what you're seeing there now. See that? 3450, 19650 to be able to make sure that they match it. You see that?
Putin warns the West against deeper involvement in Ukraine, saying that risks nuclear conflict. The Russian leader making those comments in his annual address weeks before the presidential election. And Joe Biden and Donald Trump heading to the US-Mexico border as immigration shapes up to be a key issue at this year's election. Welcome to the program. I'm Nanny. Our top story. Reports are emerging this afternoon that Palestinian civilians were shot and killed at an aid distribution point in Gaza City. The Hamas-run health ministry said 104 people were killed and more than 750 injured after Israeli soldiers...
I'll pause the video again. You can see that? For the first time today, this touched at 165 again. Not because of the trading, but to make sure that the 500 matches the 50 that you're looking at here. See the time? That just happened.
The people in the northern part of Gaza have had almost no aid at all. The Israeli army fire.
Can see that? This goes to 197 immediately, simultaneously as it goes to 197. This goes from 450 to 3389.
At this stage, it is very hard to get an accurate picture of exactly
happened. It's of course hard to verify information. There are no international observers, very few journalists on the ground. So all we can do at this stage is tell you what both sides are saying. Of course, there are two different versions of events. Hamas is saying 107 people were killed. The Al-Shifa Hospital medical staff there saying that at least 50 people were killed. We know that it happened early this morning. You can see in amateur footage that it was dark when it happened. And it happened after the arrival of a convoy of aid trucks into northern Gaza when they arrived to this area, which is just west of Gaza City. Now, the Israeli army, we've just been listening to a briefing by the army, and they said there were two incidents. So they said that in the first, Palestinians, a large group of people rushed towards these trucks, surrounding them, desperately trying to get aid. The IDF says that the majority of people who died because they were caught in a stampede, because they were crushed, trampled, even run over by supply vehicles. Just later, the IDF says, several hundred meters away, it says its soldiers opened fire aiming at the legs of people who it deemed threatening because they were approaching soldiers and refused to turn around. And now Hamas, for its part, saying that the people who died because they were targeted by the IDF. And this, of course, coming on top of what is a very grim milestone. More than 30,000 Palestinians killed, the majority of them women and children since October. Again, that's according to Hamas. The humanitarian situation in Gaza, particularly in the north of Gaza, can only be described as catastrophic. Only just yesterday, just over 30 aid trucks made it to the northern part of the territory, providing much needed relief for Palestinians. The UN says that before this week, it had been a month since a major aid delivery had been able to make it to the north of the territory. Aid convoys had been targeted by gangs. Gangs then steal the food and sell them on the black market. Otherwise, people who are just desperate to eat, people who are starving, do anything they can to get their hands on that aid. There have been airdrops in the meantime, but it's impossible to meet the needs of these people. The only real way to do that efficiently is with regular aid deliveries over land. But of course, in a territory where law and order has completely broken down after so many months of war, that greatly complicates the work of UN and aid agencies working on the ground.
In other world news, Vladimir Putin has been giving
I'll pause this for now,
speech today
and I'll update it.
the Russian parliament. Rebuke to Emmanuel Macron's statement earlier this week that Western troops on the ground in Ukraine shouldn't be ruled out. In a 2-hour
Watch.
speech, the Russian leader
See that for the first time since November. For the first time since November, you see too, and then see what just happened here. See that from 3360, can see that almost simultaneously with this going to 2. See the time now, 11:37 a.m.
Our task is to develop the military-industrial complex
11:37 a.m.
the scientific, technological, and industrial
Can see that?
It is necessary to strengthen our military
Very first time the stock coming back to 2.
in order to neutralize the
Since I bought the stock at 203 in November, late November into December, ahead of the expiration of the December 15th, $2.50 strike calls, which I had and which was the main reason why they held the stock under 250. Now, since then, I've been able to buy almost 14,000. Actually, collectively, about 13,400 or 500 of the stocks under here. On February 21st, as they held it at 155, I put in a bid to buy more at 155. They didn't fill it. Instead, they pulled away. The bid stayed there for about 6 hours or 5 hours. I cancelled it. After I cancelled the bid, they brought the stock right back down there to 155, and actually went to 154.90. And then over the next 2 days, they kept sending it to 153.90, 154.90, and then we bounced it to 155, 158. And since this was announced, when the company first announced that they were going to do asset sales, the stock ran to 188, 189 or something like that before the criminals kept coordinating to press it down. They kept pushing it down and putting it down before we got to where we are today.
Under Joe Biden, that's going to be his message. He's going to double down on his rhetoric, his dark rhetoric about immigration in the United States. He said last year that illegal immigrants were poisoning the blood of the country, so you might hear him use that rhetoric. And he's also going to outline some of his immigration proposals for if he makes it to a second term in the White House. And he has already sort of underlined what that would be, and that would look like, according to many experts, probably the strictest immigration policy the United States has ever seen, with a mass deportation plan, for example. Joe Biden, on the other hand, he's going to be in Brownsville, which is more to the west down the border, and for him, this location is a place that for nearly a decade was one of the biggest corridors for illegal immigration, but that has gone down in the past year or so. So he wants to emphasize the fact that this is where he has worked to get things under control. He's going to meet with border agents, with law enforcement officials, with frontline workers, try to show that he is looking for solutions at the border. And his messaging is going to be that while he's trying to find a solution with Republicans, the Republicans, under pressure from Donald Trump, are tanking those efforts, pointing, of course, to that effort, that bipartisan effort, where they found some common ground on immigration, and then it was tanked because Donald Trump wanted to see it tanked because he didn't want to give a political victory to Joe Biden in this electoral year. So you're really going to see those two messages at the same time on the board.
And Keteran, has polling given us any clues in recent weeks as to where voters stand on this particularly divisive issue?
Well, one thing is for sure is that whether they're Republican or Democrats, immigration is...
See what happened as soon as my mouse came over to this screen?
...been growing on both sides of the aisle, and it looks more like a liability for Joe Biden, because as much as people care about immigration, they don't trust Joe Biden about his job handling immigration, especially illegal immigration. And the gap in the trust, when you compare the trust for Donald Trump and the trust for Joe Biden when it comes to handling immigration, that gap has been growing, and it nearly doubled since 2020. Right now, Donald Trump leads Joe Biden on immigration by more than 30 percentage points. So it is really a liability for Joe Biden. That is why Joe Biden wants to focus on that messaging that I was mentioning, which is this is because the Republicans, because the Trump Republicans are preventing us from finding a solution. And he had a quote which was very clear in the strategy going forward towards November. From now until November, the American people are going to know that the only reason the border is not secure is Donald Trump and his MAGA Republican friends. So the strategy is for Democrats to show that they are serious about dealing with immigration, but while the Republicans, especially the Trump part of the party, are only there for political gain, and they're only doing that because
I'm going to pause this now.
and they don't want to give a win for them.
I'm going to pause it now, and I'll update it in the next 5 minutes.
Athletes Village for the Paris Olympic Games been inaugurated.
It's a lifetime moment, and
Can see
everything
that?
will be done to
1980.
aren't disrupted, and to showcase the great image of France during this summer with Paris 2024. Here's the Olympic Village, the athletes' village buildings. There will be home, of course, for the delegations during the Olympics and Paralympics. And organisers, those who built this village, want it to be as eco-friendly as possible. No air conditioning in the flats, but everything's been done for the temperatures to be as cool as possible inside, we are told, and everything's been done also to reduce carbon emissions.
And that's a wrap for this news programme. Thank you for watching.
Pause again. Apparently, you see the 3390. I guess to be able to get it closer to 80.
which is synonymous with France. A symbol of national pride visited every year by millions of people. The story of the Eiffel Tower, though, goes well beyond just a monument. Its very existence represents an architectural feat taken on by the man who gave it its name, Gustave Eiffel. This year marks 100 years since the engineer died. During his lifetime, Gustave Eiffel fought against all the odds to realise his dream, building a 300-metre high iron tower in the heart of the French capital.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of France in Focus. Now, Paris simply wouldn't be Paris without it. Inaugurated in 1889, the Eiffel Tower took just over 2 years to complete. The project initially seemed impossible, but the sheer determination of Gustave Eiffel made it come to life. Well, in this edition, we look at the man behind the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel, you are the great-great-great-grandson of Gustave Eiffel. You're also the curator of this exhibition that we see behind us, commemorating 100 years since his death.
Pause again. As soon as my they sold this, they brought this down to 3365 again. Nothing happened. You can see the stock is now above 2 again. They saw my I'm working on the other screen. I don't want to move this because the camera will time it out.
Very impressed if I could sell this idea to the exhibition. Came back with a refined design, and now there were platforms that were added by an architect. There was proposals for the art that are purely decorative, and this also saw the potential of the project fully there. And after that, he really put all his weight behind it. He financed it, he convinced the state to have the tower built, and he supervised the work himself. So that's why the tower, which at first was called the 300-meter tower, very quickly came to be called the Eiffel Tower.
So it's interesting, Savan, because the idea itself came from a universal exhibition, but there was also a competition that came into play as well. Tell us more.
Well, there were other projects.
I'll pause this again.
Well, that's the only one we wanted, the one that could actually be built.
In terms of public opinion, this idea of this tower, towering over Paris, was public opinion in favour of this? And if so, how did he, manage to get people on his side?
So I think the public opinion was not because the tower. Actually, Parisians came to see the work was progressing. It was a place where people could hang around, they come with their family, watch the construction.
Like we're doing today?
Absolutely. But the people who were really against it were the establishment, especially the artists from l'École des Beaux-Arts were very powerful at the time, architects, sculpture, painters, whose idea of beauty was very classic. And this structure was made of iron. It was not seen as finding technical solutions that the canal was missing actually.
Consider that.
So he almost helped get that canal finally completed. But because he made money out of the work he did for the company, he was an easy target for the people who had lost a lot of their savings, and he was.
I still won't be surprised to see them get this to us 140, 150 again today.
He was a patriot, and that really helped him.
As they struggle here.
Actually, he quit working as an engineer after that,
and then keep monitoring. It's not even that, but keep monitoring that I'm looking at this. And there's only one reason why I'm looking at this is to be able to collect this data. It is through this process that I've been able to get much of the data that show that these criminals left the floor of the exchanges, hacked into my computer, turned my computer into their workstation for the purpose of stealing my money and defrauding me.
The Eiffel Tower became the army's main antenna, and the question of destroying it was definitively put to bed. Gustave Eiffel then devoted himself to the study of his worst enemy, the wind. It's here in Paris's 16th arrondissement that he set up his laboratory, the Eiffel Wind Tunnel, where the force of the wind on objects is measured.
So we're inside the wind tunnel.
I'll pause this again.
Joined by Valentin Delplanque, who is
But sadly,
engineer here at the Eiffel
for those that don't know what is going on,
wind tunnel Valentine was built
the study stock go to 125,
concretely was it used for at the time?
and they're still seeing it go up to 2 and then come back down. Yesterday they took it to 196, and as soon as I started tweeting and taking my snips, it goes to 178, I believe. So unfortunately, people are probably not getting the cash here, and that's one of the reasons why I keep trying to sensitize people as to what is going on. Hopefully some of them read me and got in to get some of the money. For those that haven't, well, the stock will keep going up. When you got the value aside today, not the value of the stock, but the cash holding, just the assets alone is well over $7. Just the assets, not to talk about the business. I'm not talking about business. I'm just talking about knock down, sell the assets only, and get out your equity. That's over $7. That's tracking around $9 a share. See that?
Thank you very much for showing us around today. It's much appreciated. Thank you for you at home for tuning into another episode of our France in Focus show. We'll see you at the same time next week.
Africa News.
You can see that suddenly, as soon as it hits 201 for the first time in almost 3 months,
On Africa, presented by Georgia
you can see they're still having the play on the nines.
Me gusta Francia 24 horas porque nos enteramos de las noticias de Europa, de América Latina y de todos lados. Nos gusta mucho la cultura francesa.
The world is ever changing. The news doesn't wait. That's why at France 24, we'll always be there to help make sense.
I think this other video is getting a little longer. What might happen is that I will just post this as a separate video of what is going on today, and then be able to put in some kind of explanation so that people will be able to watch the one that happened yesterday and merge it onto this. When we are dealing with very sophisticated people that have managed to steal money or collect money from their banks and use that money to build programs, malwares that they use for their criminal activities. For you to be able to understand what is going on, you need massive facts. You need massive facts. They hire the best lawyers. You go to court, they bring in the best lawyers against you, pay them whatever money, and encourage them. Then they also in your computers, like here, this phone I'm using right now, this phone is operating on airplane mode. Because what happens is that everything I'm doing here, they're still seeing it. If I'm responding to what their lawyers filed in court, they're seeing this and using that information to update their lawyers as to what is going on in my computer. That is how symbiotic the crime has become. So they collect information from my computer and they provide that information to their lawyers, as always. Not in any way trying to say that the lawyers are complicit. No, that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point is that the defendants are the ones that feed the lawyers the information that they use for their filing. And defendants are obtaining this information right from my computer. Remember I told you where I started? 203 was where I started in December. That is exactly why you see the stock doing all this. Watch when it goes to 203 and see what happens. You can see every conceivable effort. See, as soon as you hit that, they brought it to 350 to be able to match the 250. You can see that. They still have to do, see that? 20250 to be able to match 0350. You can see that? So they stay in my computer, collect this information, provide that information to their lawyers, Their lawyers use that information and they continue staying in my computer through that programs they built. Citadel makes $7 billion in 3 months. Can see what happened? Well, it jumps above that 203, which is where I started buying. Don't forget, I only bought about 2,000 shares or 2,000. I believe it was 2,000. I bought at 203, and then they brought it to 2. I bought a little more. So everything I bought, it was just very little that I bought at that price. Very little that I bought at that price because I knew what was going to happen. The plan I had was to start buying at 230. For 3 days before I made my first purchase, they kept the stock at 230, which suggested to me that they were waiting for me to come and buy at 230. And because of that, I shelved the plan to buy it at 230. Not only did I shelve the plan, I didn't even, when I bought at 203, I bought 2,000 only, instead of buying 10,000 that I had planned to do. And then they now started working it back down to eventually $1.25. $1.25. So I bought a lot. I kept buying. I bought a lot in the 146. I bought about 2,000. I believe it was just 2,000. I bought at 234. Then I bought a bunch more, maybe up to 5,000 at $1.46. And then I bought a lot more around between $1.50 and $1.60. I bought about 2,000 only about at $1.80 or so. But altogether, I bought almost 14,000 shares as they took it down. Despite the fact that I was, embroiled in raising money for the litigation. See what is going on there now. See what is going on, and this hasn't gone anywhere. The stock is worth, like I said, the stock is worth between $8 and $9, just based on the numbers that they've released. Just based on the numbers that they are selling, they are getting equity of about 220 million from just 6 assets out of a company that has over 120 assets. From just 6 assets. So you've seen it for yourself. The volatility in this now will stop or will slow down with what is going on here. And I'm going to stop for now. Pause. So as soon as I turn down, you can see the time. As soon as I turn down, I pause the video. You can see what's happened. Boom. This goes right back to the same 162. As every attempt to get me to see Genos as attractive as at 33 has failed, let's return here and chip off at 1 cent here. If I open this right now, you'll see the volume. I'll do it later. Before I close the video for the day, I'm going to do that later and show the volume on this. But you can see, oh, now I see why. They did they brought it to 162 to be able to match this. You can see that is going up right there. They're bringing this to, you can see 61, 62, 62. See that? You can see the 62. That's the reason. And then they flip the 550 to get this to match the numbers. See, 62. Okay, they jump on that. Yeah, but you can see the reason why they brought this from 168 to 162 is exactly to match to this, to match the 62s. You can see that for yourself. You can see that. Amazing. See? Amazing. See that?
Earlier reporting live from Jerusalem. Many thanks for that update.
Pause.
Pursuant making his annual State of the Nation address 2 weeks before his re-election and 1 day.
I didn't pause it. I didn't pause it because I'm going to post this video as independent, but I want to capture this because this kind of marks a turning point in the in the concerted and coordinated monitoring of my computers by the defendants from after since November 1st when I filed the lawsuit through today. In the hopes, the whole thing was done in the hopes that I will liquidate the positions I have in the market. Consider, brought it right back down to the same 550. The whole thing was done in the hope that I will liquidate my positions in the market to fund the lawsuit. That has not happened. Because that has not happened, in between, the companies are announcing Lordstown Motors just filed a modified plan, which the court will be looking at, possibly approving on 5th of next month, which is next week. And then AHT has been providing the information that the company had, which was one of the reasons why it was $270. Don't forget that I told you that they did a 1 for 10. I believe it was a 1 for 10 split. And prior to COVID, it was $27. If you calculate that, you're looking at about $200. See? Can see that? Bringing it lower now. Can see that? I told you that. Remember, if you check earlier about 15 minutes back into this video, you will see what I told you. That you'll probably see this come to the 150 something, 160 range, as the other ones keep going up. It's so predictable. If you look at the video I posted yesterday, I'm not gonna call it yesterday video because I won't be joining it to this. You will see exactly every detail of their manipulation. I said it ahead of time, and it happened exactly how it happened. The stock was at 160. I told you, I said there that it will they will start selling it at 140s. You know, just because they know I was recording, and because of the snip. Remember, check 15 minutes ago what I said, that what will happen is that you will see this stock go from 168 towards the 150s. It just happened. It just happened. Oh my God! This is the book will have a lot more detail on this, because there is no pleading that I put in court that will be able to cover all this stuff. No, that's not. That is not. That is not. You see, right there. Right there. See that? Right there. We just have to do something about his other positions. Which one? Let's see whether we can sell the Lordstown Motors. I said 15 minutes ago. Check this video back 15-20 minutes. I'm not sure it's up to that, because it should be like the 12th minute or so. I said it, that once this stock crosses 203, the next thing is they can't do anything on the genus anymore. The only other thing is that they will come here and sell it from 168 to down here. All morning, the stock has never been below 162. Suddenly, it goes to day's low and then slides straight back down to 150 something.
His re-election in 2 weeks, is that factor number one, or is it the Friday funeral
See that?
of Alexei Navalny in Moscow? Well, I think, he didn't make any reference to Alexei Navalny in that long speech, and given his past record of what he would have been totally surprised if he had done. For ages now, he's never mentioned the name of that.
I guess the goal will probably be to align these two.
Although he would be concerned about the possibility of a big demonstration of support in Navalny's funeral, his main concern at the moment, I think, and has been for a few months now, has been the election, ensuring that there is a big turnout, that it's absolutely clear that he's fully in control of the situation in Russia. That's why at least 3/4 of that speech was devoted to domestic issues and not to international affairs. Navalny supporters
153. That's normally what they would do.
are refusing to take part in the service because they
And then soon you will see them trying to buy this, because it becomes not obvious, but it becomes, the loss becomes injurious to them.
Alexei Navalny had.
Assuming I do anything here.
Navalny's lifetime, he never had it, and now in his death, he knows he will never have the same sort of popularity. And this sort of petty reprisal by preventing grave diggers, hearse drivers, cemeteries, from accepting participation in the ceremony to commemorate the death of Alexei Navalny reflects weakness rather than strength.
All right, let's go to Vienna. Anton Chekhov is director of the Center for Democratic Integrity, the author of Russia and the Western Far Right. Thanks for being with us here on
Okay.
24.
I'm going to pause the video now. You've seen it. If this goes to 153, I'll capture it just to put it in there, and then you can match it against all the things I said yesterday. You know, the modus is so infantile and so predictable, but these are people that the regulators gave license and permissions to handle data of millions and millions and millions of Americans. These are people that are on the floors of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, of the NASDAQ, and everywhere, seeing people's data, handing people's data over to criminals while we pursue people from east, from here, from there, believing that they are the problem, when in fact the problem is all internal. You have criminals masking under companies, US companies, perpetrating untold crimes, cyber crimes on the citizens. See that? I'm going to pause the video now. Thank you. I'm going to pause the video. See? To be able to match that. See that?
Now, we talked earlier about the remarks
Thank you.
Emmanuel Macron. At times over the last 2
See?
years, Ukrainians
As they did, they brought them down, they quickly flipped this up. They know I'm recording. My phone is still on airplane mode. They quickly flipped that up.
reporters questioned that, one of the options could be to send Western troops to Ukraine. How much of that do you think has to do, and this gets to what is in that investigative report we were talking about, the fact that Russia
Okay. Remember I said 153? Well, I guess the flipping up was to be able to get to there.
This has been going on for years now, this Russian interference. And fortunately, although Ukrainians and Russia watchers such as myself have been warning for years now that what Russia is doing concerning the West, this interference, is not just interference, it's not just some meddling. The Kremlin believes that it is already at war with the West, especially with the recent, statements by Vladimir Putin when he tries to present his
Trying to hang on a little bit to see what's going to happen here. It didn't work yesterday, even when there was no news, and now we got news about what is going on here. So you can still see the sevens.
evidence of the Russians trying to interfere in the 2017 election of Emmanuel Macron in favor of his rival. That troll farms, they've existed for years.
They've existed for years and they're continuing to exist. And I think now Russia is even more actively trying to interfere in the election process. And if previously, for example, it would only try to interfere in those countries that it felt like, the main drivers of the European Union, which is France, Germany, the UK before Brexit. But now it tries to interfere
Anyway,
everywhere where it can interfere. So it's a
I am pausing the video now, and I am very, very sure that if you watch this video and then you understand the market and follow the numbers and the explanation I was given, you will be able to know where we are. And then you can always go to marketmakerfraud.com, marketmakerfraud.com, and then you see the litany of stuff that I put in there, that few stuff that I put in there, showing exactly other aspects of what is going on. Other aspects of what is going on. Thank you. See, you can see here 2.0320. Can see that? Can see the 3320. Yes. It's laughable sometimes, but it's just seeing crime in motion. See that? It was 3305 right now. 3305, the lowest in over 3 weeks. 3305 right now. Well, 3305, the lowest in over 3 weeks. As I wanted to capture it, they quickly flipped it to 3324.
They tried to spread this information about Ukraine, about the relations between Russia and the West, Russia and the European Union, producing all.
What is the motive? The motive is to hold this. Don't forget, this came down from 10, from 20, all because of me. It came down from all the numbers, wherever it should be. It came down because of me. Can see this came back again because of me. And so the whole motive of keeping this here, I own 60,000 of this. The whole motive of keeping it here is to see whether I can get out of here where the pressure is too much. Read the 2 PRs. The company is paying off its strategic financing, and the company, and this is worth over $9, excluding the business, not even counting on the business, just the asset that they are sitting on.
Public opinion polls, which are not public, what they're doing, or focus groups say that the Russian population is quite tired of the war. They do feel that the situation that Russia finds itself in is abnormal, so this is not normal. And
I'll pause again. If it comes to 33 again or go lower, I'll pause. But just note that 12:18 p.m. on February 29th, 2024, 3305. That was an attempt to match it at the 4 above. 3305. Before it flipped, just before I turned my phone on, it flipped to 3328. Pause. And don't forget that I said that in November, late November, when I first got into this stock, again, because, as they pushed it down from August of last year, because of my options, the 250 options, I started buying at 203.99, 203. That is, you can see it right there, displayed in front of you. They do everything, they brought it right back there. I only got 2,000 here out of 13,000, almost 14,000. Everything else I got below here. But that shows you how rabid. It's almost like racism. It's almost like all the race. It's not almost like, this is also racism anyway, because this would not have happened to me if I wasn't black, if I wasn't a black person, if I wasn't speaking with accent. You would not have all these companies. All these companies pool their resources, kill a company that have 300 employees, do everything they can, and continue to do it, hack into my computers, potential crimes and everything. It's like, who are you? Who are you? To come and tell us how to do things here. If we're criminals, we want to continue that way. And that's basically what you're seeing. That is why you have 30 companies. And I'm not saying that all of them are part of the ringleaders. There are ringleaders in everything. But these are market makers. Many of them got sucked in because they are market makers. But you have them complicit in what is going on. That's the conspiracy. That's the crime. And this is all happening because a black person is involved. We can kill him. Let's get into his computer, see what he does. He wouldn't know, and then we'll destroy him. And that's basically what happened. See that? See that? Still down there.
Including the death of Mr. Yaya Diop, president of the PSF, yesterday, 28th of February.
Told you that it got 3305. See? It's not over. The rapidity is just much. That all this money was spent to take all these companies to zero, and they have not gone to zero yet. And the lawsuit is still ongoing, and will go to any extent to keep that lawsuit going until there is justice. And so everything is being done to make sure that that lawsuit is killed. That is why you see all the gang up. That is why you see them selling the shares to anyone who wants it, despite all the good news from the companies. It doesn't matter. Look, boom, they brought the 4 up. It's just the mental health issues involved with the people that run these companies and people that they are assigned to track me, to stalk me, and do this crime is startling.
There's more news on the way, plus the day's business and sports. Stay with us. You're watching France 24.
It's startling. Nothing working. Look at that. It's still going to come lower under 2 again. But then, that's still going to be an opportunity for people to buy. See? Look. See? That's why I keep running the program. Boom. It goes right back up. Just as they brought this to 208. See that? From 159. As they keep doing all that. And most of these are captured in this video. I'm going to pause again for now. What? Did you see what just happened? See what just happened? It goes from that to 168 to 170, 175. See that? Suddenly 175. See that? See that? See that? Yesterday was 172. They took it down today. As this was going up, boom, they took it all the way back down. Now, see for yourself. Not a single share has been covered here. Not a single share. See? As that happened, see that? Commensurate with that going up. Can see this? Flattened out. Again, thank God for videos. Commensurate with that going up, the same thing that happened yesterday as the company announced that as soon as the company announced that their filing of the amended the amended plan, the third amended plan to get out of bankruptcy, as soon as that was announced, the stock that they took they sold down to 140. Came to 170, and as soon as it did, they took this down from 190s all the way back down to 178 as I was snipping. I kept snipping and looking at it. Now you saw that as this was going to 207, boom, they took this all the way down to 159. And in trying to get whatever they sold at 159, they had to buy it back at 175. You see the whole thing being done against their own economic interests.
Your stories inspire the future. Your daily lives create the news. Your cultures, struggles, and successes are at the heart of our programs. We tell the stories of those who made our planet and those who
Anyway,
we tell the story of the world.
thank God for video. I'm going to pause this again. Look at the Lordstown Motors. I haven't read the news. Something must have been filed. I haven't read that. But you can see that for yourself.
To terrorism in relation to those 2019 protests, many of which turned violent, and essentially the court says there is enough evidence to look at the terrorism charge. You'll remember that back in 2019, that was when 9 separatist leaders were jailed for their attempt to break Catalonia away from the rest of Spain 2 years earlier. And those jailings brought people onto the streets. Now, there was an organisation called the Democratic Tsunami, which the government at the time said was very strange, it was shadowy. It was organised on social networks, and it essentially...
See that? As that happens, see this? As you see, you can see commensurate with that happening. You can see the HT coming down. You can see that? Commensurate. Almost immediately. You can see that? You can see that coming down?
in their towers that they used
Let's see whether it goes to 180s or 170s again today. So you can see that for yourself. These things are not, this, you see that? Commensurate with that coming up, somebody starts selling down the AHT right away. Commensurate with the Lordstown Motors.
And they say basically that there is terrorism can be alleged if it is violent, if it is essentially organisers trying to use violence and coordinate violence, and points to previous jurisprudence where street terrorism has been used. It doesn't have to be just planting bombs and using guns. Now, of course, no sign at this stage that there will be charges pressed against the former
See that?
Catalan president.
To get it to 177 to 197. You can see that? Time now, time 12:34 p.m. on February 29, 2024. You can see the time. You can see that?
This could throw a spanner into the works with a deal that the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is hoping to strike with him and his party to keep himself in government.
Yeah, that deal, which would involve an amnesty, Carlos Puigdemont.
It was difficult for me to post any of these videos yesterday because I finished late. I had a lot of things to do, and despite the fact that I posted on Twitter that I will post the videos, I wasn't able to do that, but I will be doing that today, and I will post this as separate videos. Post this separately, and they will appear separately as separate videos.
For years before and after it. However, Carlos Puigdemont is worried enough to want to look again at the wording of that law, and notably, he thinks that there could be an exclusion if there is human rights breached. Could human rights being breached be the damage against police officers who couldn't do their job afterwards after being injured on the streets, for instance? In particular, Pedro Sanchez, the Socialist Prime Minister, halted the amnesty law and said that he could not add any more tweaks into it because the European Union, the Justice Commissioner, were looking very carefully at the law in relation to terrorism offences, and that may be why the law couldn't be broadened as Carlos Puigdemont wanted it to be. Now, the Socialists have tried to give Carlos Puigdemont jolts together for Yes Party more reassurances, saying that they would take other legal action, that they could essentially tell the judges they had to wrap up cases and investigations very quickly, and they said that could take care of some of these outstanding investigations against Carlos Puigdemont.
Sarah Morris reporting live from Madrid. Many thanks for that update. With both Joe Biden and Donald Trump cruising to their party's
Okay, what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to get off, I will save this because I'm expecting a message from my attorney, and I need to get off from the phone, check the phone. So I'm going to save this, and then once I finish saving it, you can see the time right now, 12:37. You can see where the AHT is, 198. You can see the genus, you can see the Lordstown Motors. Once I get the phone off of airplane mode, all these dynamics will change. And when I finish checking the phone, I'll come back and I will get an update, which I will be able to attach to this particular video. Time again, 12:37 p.m. right now on February 29, 2024. And these are the numbers. Thank you.